All right, welcome everybody. It's going to be the week in review. And the first thing we're going to do is go over the scores of this week, and then we're going to mash everything up, and then we are going to see the new rankings and the projections and everything. So LSU over USC in the game you just saw. Buffalo beat Ball State. Well, you saw the other one, so Utah State lost. That's their second loss. We'll get to that later. Iowa beat Ole Miss. Remember, Ole Miss was ranked as high as 8th. Texas A&M got killed by South Carolina. That's going to make them drop big, and South Carolina might gain big. Coastal over Troy. Oregon beating Maryland. That was an ugly game. Let's see if they're still number 3. Iowa State killed. So Kansas will drop. We got to see who takes their place. Marshall beats Southern Miss. Ohio State beats Northwestern solid. Penn State beats Purdue. Clemson way over Pitt. Pitt will probably drop out of the rankings. Baylor over West Virginia. Temple over FAU. Cincinnati by 1 in a low-scoring game over Kansas State. Boise State over Nevada in a tough game. Oregon State over Air Force. Liberty over Sam Houston. UConn over Army. Ohio over Eastern Michigan. Bowling Green over Western Michigan. Oklahoma over the rival Oklahoma State. They got one game to go. And I think they're playing Texas State in the league final. Let's see. Louisiana Tech over Jacksonville State. Memphis over UAB. Kentucky over Texas over Kentucky. And that's the biggest thing. How high will Texas go? Miami over Kent. Toledo over Central Michigan. Texas Tech over UTEP. SMU over Boston College. Washington by 1 over UCLA. Tennessee kills Duke. Colorado wins the West. They're 9-2. They might get ranked. USF over Navy. Auburn over Monroe. Monroe probably a toilet bowl. Cal over Syracuse. And Washington State over New Mexico. With Texas, they need that buffer in case they lose to Arkansas. If they lose to Arkansas, that's it. They're done. They're done. Okay, we don't care about that stuff. So there we go. And now let's take a look at the playoff rankings. So here we go. The playoff. Arkansas is now number 1 in the playoffs. I don't know why, but Alabama is now number 2. Oregon is 3. Their bye week this week, they have 1 game to go. LSU is 4. They got to beat Florida. They got buffers. Ohio State drops 1. They didn't think they looked good against Northwestern. I thought they looked all right. I mean, you're not going to beat everybody 90-0. I mean, come on, this ain't high school. So Ohio State is 5th. They dropped Michigan 6th. They were down. They play Northwestern now this week. Ohio State and Indiana, it should be a good game. Texas stays at 7. They play Arkansas, and 7 versus 1. That'll be really good. Notre Dame is off. They're number 8. Oklahoma is 9. Miami moved all the way up to 10th. They play Wake Forest, and that might be a tougher game than you'd think. Missouri is number 11. They drop down after their loss. They play at Tulane. Tennessee drops to 12. Now Georgia plays their final game of the year against UMass. UMass is better than we expected, but they're still a tier below. Clemson is 14th. They beat Pitt. Texas State stays 15th. They're a bye week. Penn State moves up to 16. Texas A&M drops all the way down, meaning they got to beat Texas. They got to beat New Mexico State and Texas to get in. Washington is 18. Georgia Tech, 19th. They're off this week. They play Georgia, who's 13th ranked. Who knows? NC State is 20th. Arizona. Where the hell did they come from? Really? All right. They beat USF, North Carolina. They're at BC, 22. Virginia Tech is at Duke, 23. Kansas drops all the way down to 24, and Rutgers is 25th. Pitt, Kentucky, and USC all drop from the rankings. I don't know. USC, they have 4 losses. I can see it. Kentucky and Pitt. Pitt is done. Rutgers gets in. They finish at Maryland. They'll be 10-2. I just don't, when we take a look at the college football playoffs, we want to take a look now first at the media poll, where they have Arkansas 1, Alabama 2, Arkansas and Texas, big game. Oregon 3, LSU 4, Ohio State 5, Michigan 6. If they beat Indiana and Northwestern, that's big. Texas 7, Missouri 8. Notre Dame 9, Oklahoma 10. Miami 11, Georgia 12. Tennessee is 13, Clemson, Texas State up to 15, Penn State, NC State. Texas A&M drops. Pitt is 24th. Dwayne Martz, good to see ya. This is my weekend review. Every single game, every one is CPU versus CPU. It's taken me 4 months, 5 months to do this. All of August, September, October, November, and now December. We got really one week to go, and then some others. The coaches, Arkansas and Alabama, I don't know how Alabama dropped, winning such a big game at Wisconsin, Oregon, LSU, Michigan, and Ohio State. Texas, Missouri, Notre Dame, Oklahoma, Miami moves up. Georgia, Texas State moves up. Pitt is now 23rd. Arizona's 25th. Colorado, they won the West. They're 9-2. Indiana got some votes. I don't know. Northwestern and Michigan. That might be big. So, we're going to look at the conference standings. My cat just jumped up. The ACC. Now, we don't do toilet bowls. No toilet bowls. So, Dwayne, if it is a service academy, no toilet bowls. Why? Because they're not there to play football. They're there to fight in the military. So, whatever they get, which is good. We respect them for it. But they are not going to make a toilet bowl. Toilet bowls for the worst football team where everybody's there to play football and only football. So Penn State, Pitt, those are the two. Pitt has Louisville. They got to be Louisville. If they don't, then they tie with BC and Rutgers. And I'll tell you what, Rutgers might play Penn State in the championship. So that is Penn State. Pitt has Louisville. I think that's it. It'll be Pitt and Penn State. The American, this is the Indiana-Illinois division. Notre Dame, number 1. Wisconsin, 2. Indiana is 3. Taking a look right there, Northern Illinois, Ball State. But Notre Dame and Wisconsin got killed. They absolutely got killed by number 1 Alabama. In the Big 12, you have Michigan and Ohio State, the Michigan-Ohio Conference. Everybody else fighting through everything. Michigan State is 6-2, but Ohio State and Michigan, the winner will get to the playoffs. They might play each other twice. I don't know. The Big 10, the Appalachian Conference. Louisville, 6-1. Kentucky is 6-1. Virginia Tech is 6-1. Kentucky dropped out of the rankings. Liberty, you see everybody else. Conference USA, the 1 division, LSU. They're going to win it. And they're going to play in the conference finals against the winner of Arkansas, Missouri. So Arkansas plays Texas, but it's out of conference. It's out of conference. Then Arkansas plays Missouri at the very end. The winner will play in the conference title. On the one side of the mat, Clemson will play in the finals. If they win, they might get an automatic bid. On the other side, Tennessee. Tennessee and North Carolina. I forget who is who. NC State. If they win, who knows? The 3, 1-1 against everybody. I think NC State beat Tennessee. So we got to see. In the Florida-Alabama League, Alabama, number 1. Miami. There it is. Florida, 7-0. Florida will have to play, I forget, they play a big name this week. Miami is in there, and Alabama is 8-0. And the old Pac-12, Oregon's number 1. Cal is 2. Washington is 3. But if Washington wins, they'll be good. Arizona, I don't know why, but they're 7-3, and they are ranked. So Oregon, they're 9-0. They're number 3. Then in the 1 division, Texas State. They're going to the finals. They beat Texas and Texas A&M, and they're done. They're 8-0. On the other side, Oklahoma. So if Texas State beats Oklahoma, they could get in. They could get in. And it's all going to be that, and Texas State has to win their final game. In the West, Colorado wins it. We saw that game. They finished their conference season. They have 1 more to go. And that's it. Toilet Bowl teams, Buffalo's 2-8, Ball State 2-8. Taking a look, 3-7. Old Dominion is 1-9. They're a candidate. Monroe We definitely have maybe them. Louisiana's 2-8. There's Monroe. In this league, Kennesaw 1-1. So Kennesaw might actually be one. There's Kennesaw getting killed. Florida International. Florida International is the other one. So you're taking a look at the winless teams. If there's two winless, San Jose State, I don't know. They've been close in a few of their games. UTEP, they've been close. Tulsa there. Air Force, that we'll never do a service academy as a toilet bowl team. Now for the college football rankings, the bracket. Who is in, who is out? Right now, the number one team in the nation in Arkansas. Remember, these are crazy the way they are. The number one team, these are projections, would have to play in the first round against Tennessee. Oklahoma would play against Notre Dame. Missouri would play against Ohio State. But the thing is, Arkansas and Missouri, if Missouri loses, Missouri might be out of it. They would be out of it. They would be. And Miami and Texas, we got to see about Texas coming up next week. Michigan right now is giving the credence of the bye, the projection. Alabama is getting the projection. I think Alabama the number one seed. I think that's pretty good. LSU, you could have number one versus number two in a semifinal. Like, what in the world? LSU right now, we saw them. They're predicted third seed. Oregon is a second. Whew. Wow, I don't know about that. Other than that, the bold projections, now these are wonky. These are very wonky. So, Dwayne, please don't kill me for these. Yeah, Virginia Tech and Florida, Colorado and Wisconsin. Penn State, Indiana. Utah and Clemson. But we got to see right now. But watch this. They get really, really wonky. Colorado State and Ole Miss. Now, the first round, Tennessee and Arkansas. Remember, you got to win your division. And you got to win your conference championship game to get the bye. So you just don't know. Georgia Tech and Utah State. That might be a really good one. Oklahoma and Notre Dame. Remember, the regular bowls are 10-minute quarters. They're sprint football. What next year will be? Next year will be sprint football the whole way. This year, the bowl games will be 10 minutes, and the playoffs will be 15. So now we have Iowa and Florida State. Okay, I can see that. But Akron and Liberty, okay, maybe. The first round of the playoff, Missouri and Ohio State. North Carolina and BYU looking good. Miami and Texas, that'll go well, but now you got the Boise Bowl that nobody wants to go to. So New Mexico is 4-6. I can maybe see that. Pitt and Purdue. Purdue is a 4-6. The Boca Raton Bowl. Maryland's at 3-8. How in the hell are they going to a bowl against NC State, who's 8-2? Oh my God. Minnesota's 4-7. Projected to go to the New Orleans Bowl against Hawaii. That bowl sucks, so yeah. But look at this. Auburn versus New Mexico State. Look at Miami's 3-7 in a Gasparilla Bowl. Seriously? Kentucky against Cincinnati in the Independence. These are projections. I don't know how they're projecting Miami University at 3-7. UNLV's 3-8 in the Armed Forces Bowl. They right now have Texas State at 10-1 against Western Michigan. They'll kill them. Illinois and Syracuse in the Military Bowl. Tells the difference, military and armed forces. All right, whatever. First responder, Northwestern, and 3-8 Wyoming. The best they can do is 4-8. Northern Illinois 3-7 versus Toledo in the Liberty Bowl. 3 wins, Jesus Christ. Nevada versus UMass, 2-8 versus 8-2 in the Birmingham Bowl. Really, 2-8? That's got to be corrected. That's got to be corrected. UConn is 5-5. Western Kentucky is 4-6. Marquis Marmar Taylor, good to see you. Happy holidays to you. I got my flight out of Pakistan here coming in a little bit. In less than a week. Less than a week. So, UConn, Western Kentucky, Bowling Green, and UAB. The Guaranteed Rate Bowl. I have no idea where some of these. App State Air Force, the Camellia Bowl. Montgomery, Alabama. Jeez, what is everybody opting out of bowls? Eastern Michigan and Rutgers. Look, Eastern Michigan's 2-8 in the Pop-Tarts Bowl. Louisville and Michigan State. That's a good one. West Virginia and Kent. And the WhoCares.com Bowl. I mean the Duke Mayo Bowl. Imagine dousing your coach in mayonnaise. South Carolina, didn't they just beat Texas A&M? They're going to play Ohio in the Tony the Tiger Sun Bowl. They're got to change. Texas A&M against JMU in Music City. Georgia against Troy. Troy's 2-9. That's got to change. Virginia and Baylor. Virginia and Baylor. Old Dominion and Kansas. Old Dominion is 1-9. And they're a toilet bowl contender. And they are right now projected to go in the Citrus Bowl. Again, we don't believe any of these till the end. Texas Tech and Marshall. That's a good one in the Gator Bowl. That actually will be a good one there. So that's what you have. Now the Heisman Trophy. The Heisman one, first of all, the players of the week. Jacob Rodriguez, 13 tackles, 3 sacks for Texas Tech. Malik Hornsby, 7 receptions, 263 yards, a 58-28 win. And now for the Heisman. You still got those Tennessees? Yes, you do. James Pierce and Caleb Herring. Abdul Carter, the right end. For Penn State, the junior, Jalen Milroe. 3 touchdowns, but he threw 2 picks at Wisconsin. And Michael Williams now, the left outside linebacker for Georgia. Now for the award watch list. The player of the year, Pierce, the same thing. All right. Head coach, no, I'm sorry, George King. If they make the playoffs, friggin' George King. Best quarterback, Jalen Milroe. Best defensive player, the 2 Tennessees. Best defensive back, Jaron Thompson, Auburn. Best running back, Josh Williams. We just saw him. He was incredibly good. Him and Donovan Edwards. Monray Baldwin for Baylor, the receiver. The Lombardi Award, both Tennessees. The best senior quarterback, Jordan McLeod. What a number of Georgia and Alabama going for that. Best tight end, Oronde Gadsden, the second. He'll definitely be there. Probably one of the best, but Mason Taylor. He's played better teams. Assistant coach, well, you got Texas State. The offensive coordinator, and you have 2 Alabamas, then you have a Texas State. It's got to be Texas State. Like, seriously. Linebacker Michael Williams and Mohamed Torre. The center is Brailsford for Alabama. The Lou Groza Award, Liam Connor from BC. And you see a lot of the good kickers there. The best punter, Mastromano for Florida State. And the returner, Caden Durham from LSU, the freshman. Taking a look now, the schedules. Texas at Arkansas, the game of the week, that'll be big. Alabama at Oklahoma. LSU is number 4. They play at Florida, and that's going to be a very big game. But Indiana will play Ohio State. At Ohio State, how good is Indiana? We don't know. Here we go. Northern Illinois at Miami. Buffalo at Eastern Michigan. Arkansas State against Monroe. Monroe, maybe, who knows. Auburn, Vanderbilt, UConn, UAB. There it is, Texas and Arkansas. A huge game. Cincinnati, Iowa State. Maybe toilet bowl material there in FIU. USF Charlotte, Boston College, North Carolina, big game. Pitt at Louisville. Pitt needs to win. They need to win. Go 10-2, and that'll be good ranking-wise. That'll be the end of their season. Virginia Tech, Duke. Wake Forest at Miami might be tougher than what you'd think. Bowling Green, Ball State. UMass at Georgia. I don't know. UMass has been doing all right. Northwestern at Michigan. That's a rivalry. You never know there. Nevada, New Mexico, Missouri, Tulane. Utah State, Ohio, Mississippi State, La Tech. Georgia Southern and Coastal. USC, UCLA. A big game. A big game. Houston, Texas Tech. Georgia State, James Madison. Rutgers, Maryland. They'll end those seasons. Kansas, BYU. Kansas got to win. I mean, they're looking for a big bowl now. Southern Miss, Texas State. Texas State has to win, and they have to win by a lot. If they don't do it, I mean, I'm probably going to sim that game first. We have hockey. Hockey's coming up. So Dwayne Martz and Marquise Marmore Taylor, we're going to have hockey coming up. Big time. Indiana, Ohio State, Purdue, and Michigan State. Indiana, Ohio State, that game. That's going to be a good game. It might be, or it might be a blowout. I just don't know. Purdue, Michigan State, SMU, Virginia, East Carolina, North Texas, FAU, Tulsa, Hawaii, Sam Houston, Syracuse, and Navy, Arizona, UCF, Old Dominion. Remember, they might be bowl bound at App State. Temple, UTSA, Kenton, Akron. Ooh, Liberty Western, Kentucky. New Mexico State at Texas A&M. Texas A&M got to win and win big. UTEP at Tennessee. Western Michigan versus Central. Michigan, San Diego State, UNLV. Cal, Stanford, the big game. The big game, Fresno and Washington, LSU and Florida. That's a rivalry, a big game there. South Alabama and Louisiana. Wisconsin, Nebraska. Alabama at Oklahoma. Oh, wow. That'll be big. Utah, Oklahoma State, Washington State, Oregon State, and Memphis and NC State. So I think Alabama at Oklahoma is big. If Oklahoma would win that, then all of a sudden Texas State has a chance to beat Oklahoma, and they would be ranked. That would be Texas, Texas A&M, and Oklahoma. And you only lost one game to Arkansas State. You're upset. They would have to win the rest, but that's the way it is right here. So Indiana and Ohio State, a big one. LSU at Florida, that'll be a big one. But Texas, Arkansas, the game of the week. Alabama and Oklahoma, that'll be big also. Could shake everything up if Arkansas and Alabama lost, which is a possibility. All right. right, well, that's going to be it. Have a great day, everybody, and we will see you later.